5 warriors, their faces grimed, etched with the weight of a kingdom's fate. They rode towards the shadow peaks, a jagged scar upon the horizon. Their destination, the Obsidian Tower, a monument to dark magic. Their purpose, to end the reign of Malkore, the sorcerer king. There was Darius, the stoic leader, his hand never far from the pommel of his sword. Ilara, the huntress, her eyes sharp as an eagle's, bow strung with deadly intent. Torvin, the berserker, muscles bulging beneath his scarred armor, his every step a tremor. Lyra, the mage, her staff crackling with arcane energy, a shield against the encroaching darkness. And Kalin, the youngest, barely a man, fear masked by resolve, his hand trembling on his sword hilt. They rode in silence, the weight of their mission pressing upon them. Each knew the cost of failure, each knew their lives were forfeit. But they rode on, fueled by a flicker of hope, a prayer for a miracle. The first day, they fought monstrous wolves, their fangs dripping venom, their eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. The forest floor ran slick with blood. By nightfall, 2 of their number lay still. Torvin, his chest ripped open, a testament to his savage courage. Lyra, her life force drained, her staff shattered, a sacrifice to hold back the shadows. The second day brought grotesquely twisted creatures birthed from nightmares, their flesh stitched together, their moans echoing through the skeletal trees. Darius fell, his sword arm severed, his last breath a defiant roar. Ilara, riddled with poisoned arrows, slumped against a gnarled oak, her final arrow finding its mark in the eye of a towering abomination. Kalin, now alone, fought with the desperation of a cornered animal. He fought not for glory, not for the kingdom, but for the memory of his fallen comrades. He fought because to stop fighting was to surrender to the encroaching darkness. The third day dawned, a pale sliver of light in the oppressive gloom. Kalin stumbled onwards, his body a symphony of pain, his spirit near its breaking point. The air grew heavy, thick with the stench of death and decay. The Obsidian Tower loomed, a black spear piercing the sky. The ground was littered with the bones of the fallen, a grim reminder of the price of defiance. He stepped over a shattered shield, its surface etched with the crest of his kingdom. A sob escaped his lips, a raw, guttural sound. He thought of his fallen comrades, their faces etched in his memory. He drew strength from their sacrifice, their memory a flickering flame in the encroaching darkness. He would complete the mission. He would avenge them. Section 4. The Heart of Darkness. The air crackled with malevolent energy as Kalin stumbled into the tower. The stench of sulfur and decay filled his nostrils. The walls were slick with some unknown viscous substance, pulsing faintly with an eerie green light. He ascended, each step a monumental effort, his sword a beacon of defiance in the heart of darkness. He fought his way past skeletal guards, animated by dark magic, their bony fingers scraping against his armor. He evaded traps that snapped and hissed, each one a deadly dance. He reached the top of the tower, a circular chamber bathed in an eerie green glow. In the center stood a figure cloaked in shadow, its eyes burning with malevolent power. Malkore. Section 5, a fateful blow. Malkore turned, his face a mask of cruelty and arrogance twisted into a mocking smile. He raised a hand, skeletal fingers tipped with glowing green energy. Kalin charged, his weary muscles finding renewed strength. He lunged, his sword a silver arc in the eerie light. The blade found its mark, sinking deep into Malkore's chest. A look of surprise flickered across the sorcerer's face. He looked down at the blade protruding from his chest, then back at Kalin. A low chuckle escaped his lips.
You think it is that easy, boy?
He rasped. He placed a hand on the blade, his grip like ice. Kalin tried to pull the sword free, but it was as if it was embedded in stone. Malkore closed his eyes and began to chant in a language that scraped against Kalin's soul. Section 6. Evil's mocking laughter. The air crackled and sparked. Malkore's form began to shimmer, to dissolve. Kalin watched in horror as the sorcerer's body turned to mist, swirling around him, a cold, cloying fog. Then just as quickly the mist coalesced, reforming into the shape of Malkore. He stood there whole and unharmed, the wound in his chest gone. He threw back his head and laughed, a sound that echoed through the chamber, filled with dark amusement and cruel triumph.
You have failed, boy. Your kingdom is mine.
The chamber pulsed with dark energy, a prelude to unimaginable horror, a prelude to unimaginable horror. Kalins stood there, his sword useless, his last hope extinguished. All his sacrifice, all the blood spilled had been for nothing. The weight of his failure crushed him, a suffocating darkness. And above it all, echoing through the chamber, Malkore's laughter, a promise of endless suffering.